In this video, we explore one of the most haunting and fascinating questions in human history. What happens when children grow up completely separated from the outside world? If a child is raised with almost no human interaction, what kind of person do they become? How do they think? How do they communicate? And most importantly, what language do they speak? Across centuries, rulers, philosophers, and scientists have attempted to answer these questions through what later came to be called language deprivation experiments. Their goal was bold and unsettling: to discover the true source of human language and, at a deeper level, to understand the essence of human nature itself. These experiments were profoundly unethical, yet their stories reveal how deeply humanity has been obsessed with the origins of speech and thought. The earliest known account appears in the writings of Herodotus. Around 600 BC, the Egyptian Pharaoh Psamtik ordered 2 newborn babies to be taken from their families and raised by a shepherd in complete linguistic isolation. The shepherd was forbidden from speaking to them. The purpose was not merely curiosity. Psamtik wanted to discover the world's first language, a language humanity was born with. According to the story, when the children eventually spoke their first word, it sounded like bikos, which matched the Phrygian word for bread. Egyptians interpreted this as proof that the Phrygians, not the Egyptians, were the world's oldest civilization. The experiment did not uncover the origin of language, but it revealed something far deeper about human obsession with identity, power, and ancestry. Nearly 1,800 years later, in the 13th century, Emperor Frederick II conducted a similar experiment. Once again, newborn babies were taken into care where only their physical needs were met. They were fed, washed, and kept alive, yet nobody was permitted to speak to them. Frederick believed that if language truly existed as an innate divine gift, the children would reveal the original tongue of humanity, perhaps Hebrew, Greek, Latin, or Arabic, the languages of scripture and ancient tradition. Chroniclers of the time did not record what the children said if they ever spoke at all. Instead, they documented the tragic outcome without emotional connection, touch, or speech. The children did not survive. The experiment revealed not the first human language, but the irreplaceable necessity of love, interaction, and human presence. But not all isolation came from royal experiments. Throughout history, some children grew up in nature, far from people, the so-called feral children. Raised among animals, they adopted animal-like behaviors, ways of moving, eating, and communicating. One girl in Ukraine, raised among dogs, barked, crawled, and interacted in ways that resembled the pack she grew up with. Even after years of rehabilitation, many feral children never fully developed human language. Their lives demonstrate a crucial reality. Language does not simply grow inside us, it grows between us. There is another form of isolation as well, one that emerges naturally: deafness. When deaf children are raised without exposure to sign language, they begin to construct their own systems of communication. A remarkable example occurred in Nicaragua in the 1980s. Deaf children from across the country, who had previously lived isolated lives, were brought together into a new school. Educators attempted to teach them an existing sign language, but instead, something extraordinary happened. The children created a completely new sign language among themselves. Linguists later analyzed it and discovered that it possessed grammar, structure, abstraction, everything that defines a real language. This was not imitation. It was creation. Proof that communication is not taught to humans. It is invented by humans when necessary. Even today, we still cannot say with certainty how the first languages emerged, or how humanity developed thousands of them across the world. But we do know this: communication is one of the deepest human instincts. We seek knowledge. We feel the need to share it. And language in any form becomes the bridge between minds. Modern thought experiments, philosophy, and even science fiction revisit these questions in new ways. When a child grows up isolated yet is still spoken to, no new language forms, because there is already something to imitate. But when no model exists at all, the human mind constructs its own system of meaning. And that reveals something profound. Language is not only a tool for survival, it is a reflection of consciousness itself. Perhaps then, the true mystery is not about discovering humanity's first spoken word, but about discovering the inner language that lives inside each of us. Maybe the real experiment is not isolating others, but stepping away from the noise of the world long enough to hear our own thoughts. When we think, when we reflect, when we speak to ourselves, we build the most personal form of language we will ever know. As the philosopher Immanuel Kant once suggested, language is the expression of thought, and thinking is, in many ways, a conversation we have with ourselves. And perhaps the highest form of language is not the one spoken aloud, but the silent dialogue that shapes who we are. If this video helped you see the world from a different perspective, if it challenged your thinking or opened new questions in your mind, consider supporting the channel. Leave a comment and tell us what part resonated with you the most. Share the video with someone who would find it meaningful. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next story.